Avi Meyer's Northtown Neighborhood News Magazine, a presentation of Sonny Hirsch and myself. Check us out on the web. Jewish Chicago will be out February 27th for your early voting pleasure. It is a pleasure to introduce you to a candidate for, and we're no stranger to the Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago or Metropolitan, whatever. We're talking about Josina Morita. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
First of all, thank you. And, that's kind of an unusual thing and sort of undiscovered in a lot of ways. Why do you want to run for commissioner of the MWRD?
Sure. I always say Metropolitan Water Reclamation District's the most important agency that no one knows very much about. We're a $1.4 billion agency, second largest landowner in Cook County. We oversee 90% of the U.S. water supply. So it's an incredibly important agency. And for me as an urban planner, my background is in land use management, infrastructure development, regional planning. These are the kind of issues and skills that I would bring to the board. And as somebody who lives in the northern suburbs and Skokie area, we've been impacted by flooding. I've personally been impacted by flooding. So one of my big priorities is looking at how we address our long-term stormwater management issues.
No, it's definitely important. One of the problems is that I've learned from Terry O'Brien, the former president, is you've got clay 2 feet under the ground.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a limit to how much water the land can absorb.
Yeah, our permeable surface issues are broad. Again, as the second largest landowner in Cook County, looking at how we can increase permeable surface pavements, both in commercial and residential development. I live in Skokie, which is normally, very progressive when it comes to a lot of our environmental policy. But I think like a lot of municipalities, they haven't looked at a lot of their land use policies from a water standpoint. And so you still can't have a permeable surface driveway in Skokie. And so I think there's also ways that we can partner with municipalities as well as private developers to increase permeable surfaces to deal with some of our stormwater issues.
Very good. Now, it's funny boundaries for the metropolitan. You actually go a little bit outside of Cook County.
Yes.
And I think there might be a part of Cook County you don't have.
Yeah, no, it's a little bit of both. There's little pieces of Cook County that are not in the district. There are lots of parcels of land outside of the district. So we're a large portion of the county, though.
Even with permeable cement, are you worried at all about the shrinking and, like in the cold when the weather contracts, there'll be more moisture in there, it could crack. Is that a concern or?
Yeah, there's also new technology around, different pavement surfaces that can withstand a lot of Chicago's weather issues. We had a 40-degree temperature range in just the last week, and that's really, hard on a lot of non-permeable surfaces because they're more rigid.
It's also hard on human beings.
It is definitely hard on human beings. It was definitely inhumane weather, and the concept of Arctic flooding, that we've had over the last few days with the freezing cold and the snow and then the rain and then the ice, is a lot of the climate change that's going on, is posing new challenges, and we need to look to the future of how are we going to address these issues long term.
Very good. In terms of the way the district is run, do you find it efficient? Are there things you want to do with it, or?
Yeah, there's lots of great things about the way MWRD is run. We're very financially solid. We have a AAA bond rating. We are one of the few agencies.
Which is the very highest you can possibly have.
The highest bond rating that you can have. We're one of the few agencies that has addressed our pension issue. It's all resolved. I think we've got great new leadership at the district with the new president, the director, David St. Pierre. We've moved forward with disinfection. We're moving forward with nutrient recovery. We're removing phosphorus from our water, which both makes our water quality better, but also is producing an alternative revenue source. We're able to sell that phosphorus, and we're looking at biogas and biosolids into the future.
Cool.
So I think there's a lot of really great things that we're doing there. But, for me, I'm an urban planner. I'm also been a community organizer for the last 15 years. And as an agency, like I said, that very few people know about, I think it's important for the next phase of MWRD to really engage communities around water issues. So, I'd like to bring a lot of my background and ideas around community education, particularly with the young people in CPS schools and countywide, to think about how do we think about our water usage? How can we reduce waste? Because we can do everything that we can to protect our water supply on the supply side, but unless we're addressing some of the demand side and educating communities around how they engage with water, we're going to continue to have problems.
No, it is important, and this one you're going to have to be brief on. Just in the last few days, they've come out with different plans to handle Asian carp. Is there anything in particular that struck you as a good plan?
Asian carp is a lot of the proposals were $18 billion plans that are going to take 30, 40 years, just like the TARP, the Deep Tunnel Project. I think, some of the things that perked my interest were some of the short-term intermediate things that we can do because the carp is getting closer and closer. It's within 5 miles of the lake. So they've talked about different kind of locks that that can be developed right now. Our locks that are in place right now use the same water on both sides of the lock, and they're proposing a new kind of lock that would cleanse the water before it transfers from in either direction, so it would reduce the spawn from the Asian carp, and I think that would be a great intermediate step to go along with some of the electric barriers that are being effective.
Cool. I assume you have a website and you have to be quick with this.
At www.friendsofjosina.com.
And you can see how Josina is spelled under the screen right now. I want to thank you very much, Josina Morita. I want to thank all of you for joining us today. I want to thank my entire technical crew, Sunny Hirsch. Good luck in the election, which is already in progress.
Yes.
And be well.
Thank you.